Once you've taken a course in manual mode, it's important to practice as much as you can because you'll only fully understand your settings by experimenting to see what works and what doesn't. Trying and failing is a necessary part of learning photography. But this means you'll be taking a lot of bad photos for a while, which isn't super encouraging. It's kind of like learning to ride a bike. You probably fell down and ran into things a few times before you were able to ride as second nature. So during this process, it's best to practice on subjects you feel comfortable with. So don't go shooting weddings or portrait sessions. Just stick to local landscapes and the flora and fauna around your house. But there's two problems that tend to happen when you practice manual mode that are unfortunately unavoidable. First, your creativity tends to suffer because you're now so focused on remembering all the rules and getting the variables right that you don't have much mental capacity for being creative. So you might find yourself shooting landscapes in landscape orientation with a narrow aperture and portraits in portrait orientation with a wide aperture because that's what you've been told to do. Though more often than not, you'll find yourself using generic settings like f11 and 1/200th of a second because they're the most reliable in many conditions. But using reliable settings is no better than using auto mode because there's no element of creativity. And when your photos look no different from how someone would see the same scene with their eyes, they're not going to get people's attention. This is not all bad news though, because now your photos will be more technically accurate with less camera shake, better focus, and good exposure, which is great. Because once you know how to use your tool, we can get back to being creative. Now, the second problem is that when you're learning manual mode, you'll probably practice with easy and obvious subjects like beautiful flowers or sunrise-lit landscapes, which are already picturesque. But this can create a little comfort zone where you'll keep shooting the same familiar subjects in the same familiar ways because they've worked for you before. When you don't intentionally practice with different kinds of subjects to develop different types of skills, this eventually makes your photos feel routine and uninteresting, both to look at and shoot, which can feel really disheartening when you've been practicing heaps but still aren't seeing significant progress. So I'm not telling you all of this to help you avoid these traps because they are a normal part of the learning process, only to help you set realistic expectations. Because so many photographers think learning manual mode is going to help them take gorgeous photos. And when that's not the case, they assume they don't have what it takes and lose interest. But if you are still really enjoying this stage of photography because you like finding subjects, choosing settings, and nailing a good shot, then keep doing what you're doing because photography isn't a race to win, it's a hobby to savor. Though if this is sounding all too familiar and you're ready to learn the creative skills to take more exciting and expressive photos, then keep an eye out for my next video.